the outlet that it was plugged into was, it was a very loose fitting outlet.
Rhonda, can you see me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I did something right.
Yes, Mom. Everybody can see you, I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
Welcome, everybody. All right, we're going to get started in a couple minutes. I'm going to give everybody the opportunity to get on.
Which is a misdemeanor in the city of Dayton in the state of Ohio.
Andrew Mason and Julie Pastor plead no contest to the misdemeanor charges. Andrew was given one.
And I have started the recording, so we're good.
When the grand jury failed to indict, we were disappointed. It was quite possibly the most horrifying things I've ever seen in my life.
After Claudia's tragic death, the state makes changes to the legal system that failed her.
Considering this was a pretty unusual case and a pretty violent case, there is something positive coming out of this. State Senator.
We'll give them one more minute and then we're going to rock and roll. I'm not going to keep you guys on here that long. I'm going to basically go over all of the information that I have based on the questions that I have been receiving over the last 3 or 4 months. And then I'll open it up for questions. And it is being recorded, so if someone can't get on, I will send an email out tomorrow with the video and the answers to every question that you guys had that I answered, just to follow up on it. And you can, if you have any links or anything like that, you'll be able to get the links. Okay.
Tormented her and tormented her and got his way.
Y'all looking so cute today. It's Friday, everybody looking good.
We're really sick, yeah, that happened.
And ultimately, the system that she followed to a T, the system that she trusted, failed her. I think what makes this story the most tragic.
Somebody is a cat today. That's so cute. All right, it's 1 after 5 and we're going to get started. First of all, thank you guys for jumping on. I hope everyone's having a fantastic Friday. I am Tawanda Dobat, the host of 2021 Majestic Millionaires Stepping with a Purpose Women's Retreat. And I want to thank you guys for joining us on this journey. We have come a long way. This trip has been planned for almost 2 years. We have been making payments, we have been making changes, and lives have changed, people have changed, roommates have changed, and I'm just excited that everyone is still here with us. First, let me say, everything I'm going to talk about today can actually change. Because we're in the uncharted territories with COVID-19, of course, this is the plan. But if you're coming to the trip, if you're coming to Hawaii, make sure you're coming with an open mind. Make sure you're coming knowing that, you know, everything that I'm putting in place and that I want to do, things may change as we get closer. And some things may change for the better, and some things may change and, you know, make it a little quirky for us. But we're going to make this trip as phenomenal as possible for each and every one of you. Some of you on here have gone on trips with me before, and they only get bigger and better. And we only get better experiences, and we learn more, and we meet new people. And we're just gonna keep on doing the same thing, even during this COVID period. Okay, we'll start with the #1 important part of this trip. Please, if you have not purchased a travel insurance, please purchase travel insurance. I say it on every email. I tell you guys on every conversation we have. I share it in your inboxes. I'm sure some of you are tired of me talking about the travel insurance. I'm never going to get tired of it, because if we give trips and we offer trips that are non-refundable and non-transferable, that's the reason insurance companies protect your investment. So with that being said, can you buy the insurance policies still? Yes, you can. The only thing is, you will not be able to buy the policy that you can walk away for any reason unless you are still within your first 21 days of your initial deposit. If you are beyond the 21 days of your initial deposit, you can still purchase travel insurance. And I will tell you what the other two policies cover. One of the policies, which is the mid-grade policy,
Let me know
will
when you
cover
get ready to go. I'll plug it and I'll take
things
it
like
in.
if you get sick, if someone in your house gets sick, or your family member, if your roommate gets sick, or
talking about the
passes
insurance.
away. If you're on, could you please mute yourself, please? It will cover if you have jury duty and you can't go. It will cover if you are in the military and you get deployed and you can't go. There's several reasons. If you adopt a child, or if you lose a child, if you're in the hospital, it covers.
In 4 minutes, she started all quick.
Hello, can you mute your phone, please?
Mm.
It will cover basically all of the other life changes. It will not cover right now if you're past that 21 days. Just say if you have that first policy, walk away for any reason, and you just didn't want to go on the trip, you don't have to give the insurance company a reason. You can just say at any time, I've decided I don't want to go on the trip, I'm not going, and you request a refund from the insurance company. So even if you're not going to get it for this trip, any trips that you go with us in the future, you should definitely get the insurance, because it does protect many things. We have had many situations on this trip. I like to be as transparent as I can with people not being able to go for whatever reasons. I have been called out my name. I have been disrespected. I have been everything on this trip. And I'm just letting you guys know, I'm telling you right now, with all these people on this Zoom, you still have the opportunity to get the other two policies to protect your investment if you are not going. Okay? All righty. Refunds, that's on here too, even after the insurance. If you cannot come to the trip and you do not have insurance, the hotel does not give us your money back. We are in a contract. Most of the trips that I do are contracted so we can get a low price. It's just like when you buy a car. You drive the car a couple of months, you can't give the car back and then want your money back too. When we sign a contract, we sign the dotted lines. It's not normally for all the rooms, it is for a dollar amount that we must spend in order for them to hold those 45 or 50 rooms for us for almost 2 years. So they're not gonna just say, oh, because 1 or 2 people are not gonna come on the trip, that we're gonna give you that money back, because it doesn't work like that. A contract is a contract. And there's a lot of variables in a contract when you pay for these trips. Okay. Roommates, make sure that your roommate is in order with their payment. Most of us have 2 people in the room. There's only 4 rooms, I think, left that have 3 in the room. If your roommate decides not to come and you got the lower price, your price will be adjusted to the higher price. If you have 2 and you decide to have 3, which we're not having 3 anymore, but if that was the case, we gave you a lower price. So it reverses in the same direction, okay? Make sure you get along with your roommate. I don't know if my Aunt Doris is on here. She is the conflict resolution person on almost all of my trips. You make sure you and your roommate are on the same accord. Make sure if you don't like the TV on, you let her know that at a certain time you want the TV off. You know, we don't want to get all the way to Hawaii. Could you please mute your phone, please? If you're on here, could you please mute your phone? We don't want to get to Hawaii and have a bad reputation because somebody didn't get along, someone did something to the other person. If you and your roommate don't get along and you need another room, you will be required to pay for that room at that hotel. Just because you guys don't get along, they're not going to say, oh, here's an extra room that we're just going to give you. That room has to be paid for. So be mindful. And if you're rooming with someone that you've never been in a room with before, make sure you guys go out to dinner. Make sure you call them. Have a Zoom meeting with them to find out the do's and the don'ts, what they like, what they, don't like, okay? All right, because we're going to be too far away to come home real quick, right? All righty. When you check in at the hotel, you have to have a debit or credit card. So if there's two in the room, you have to figure out whose card is going to be put up on the reservation. Whoever gets there first and checks in first, that would probably be the person that needs to put their credit card or debit card on the room. There's no charges going to be placed on that card unless you buy something or get room service. They're going to charge maybe $35 or $45 for incidentals, but that will be given back to you at checkout directly back on your card. If you have a debit card, it acts like a charge because it's a debit card. If it's a credit card, it will act like it's a pending transaction and it will come off right at checkout. If you have a person in the room that's going to be using the phone, even though we are still in the United States, that's still a long distance call. So if they're picking up that phone call is being placed on your credit card. So make sure whoever you're in the room with knows that you cannot be on that telephone. Use your cell phone. Make sure you're not ordering any movies on the TV because that's going to be charged on your debit or your credit card. Okay? And I talked about the conflict resolution person. Her name is Doris Toller. We don't have many issues on any of our trips, but we always have one. Normally it's always one issue, but she will handle it. If you have a minor issue that's not something that you can handle or you feel like you don't want to speak to your roommate about, you will be able to speak to Doris Toller. She will come and try to resolve the issue for you. But like I said, we are not claiming that. I just want to let you guys know that that is going to be available on the trip. There are no upgrades at this property. Right now, we are in a contract with all rooms that have the ocean view. This property is not an ocean front property. Please use the phone.
And on your credit card. Okay?
Could you please mute your phone? Hold on.
Person, her name is
Let me mute
Doris
it.
Toller. We don't have any issues on any of our trips, but we always have normally but she will handle it. If you have a minor issue that's not something that you can handle or you feel like you don't want to speak to the roommate about, you will be able to speak to Doris Toller for you. But like I said, we are going to be
See if I can get in here. Get out here.
could you please
Hi, but I can't hear.
Could you guys please mute your
I
phones?
wonder if they're gonna let me in.
Oh my gosh.
This is crazy.
Tawana, you're the leader. Can't you just mute everybody?
I did. I hit the mute button.
No, you hit your mute yourself button. You need to hit
She
mute.
does.
Tawana, go to participants. Go to participants and then mute everybody.
Okay, hold on.
She gotta get called out.
No.
Right. If she goes to participants and clicks on
Yeah.
participants, then you can mute everybody.
Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to do. Hold on. I don't want to hang this up.
Okay.
The lady right here with this mask on. How you doing? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I see participants. Hold on. Mute
Okay.
all. Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, I got it. Woo. All right.
You know where to go?
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, let's get it going again. I'm sorry about that.
This
And like
lady
I
with
said,
this mask
But we
Yeah.
still hear other
Still
people.
with this lady.
I went to participants and I hit mute.
And she's still talking.
And I said yes. Can you hear me?
I think that worked.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Ooh, Lord.
Jesus.
I was like, Lord. All right. That was like I said, I'm transparent. I don't use this thing that often, but thank you guys for your help. I'm glad I'm not the smartest person in the room. All righty. Woo! Let's talk about the flights again. We offer flights. If you have not purchased your flight yet, please let me know. I will try to find a flight for you. If you've already purchased your flight, please let us know what your itinerary is so we can connect you with all the other guests so we can make sure we track your flight and your landing time. Southwest does not fly into Honolulu from the DMV area anymore for our dates, okay? Spirit Airlines, some have asked me, does Spirit Airlines fly to Honolulu? Spirit Airlines does not fly to Honolulu from any airport. Okay, now let's go into the luggage. Please check with your airline carrier to make sure of the luggage policy, to make sure if you are required to pay for bags, if you get checked bags, if you can have 2 bags. Don't wait until you get to the airport. Sign on now if you have already purchased your ticket and find out what you are available to have on your flight, okay? And I don't know, so many people were talking, I couldn't even hear myself. So I don't know if you guys heard me when I said the hotel is ocean view, but it's not ocean front. What that means is it's not sitting on the ocean. It's directly across the street from the ocean. All you have to do is go downstairs to the pool area, walk out the gate, and directly across the street, not 2 blocks away, not 3 blocks, not to the left, to the right, directly across the street, you will be sitting right on the beach. So when you are in your hotel room, the hotel goes this way, and the room, you go out the balcony either on the left or the right, whichever side of the hotel you're on, and you'll see the ocean facing this towards this way, like where my hands are going. So walk out on the balcony if you're on this side, or walk out on the balcony if you're on that side. One of the sides, if they're going to be doing fireworks, you can see the fireworks from the left side from the right side of the hotel. You can see them a little bit from the left side, but if you are in one of the rooms on the right side and they have fireworks on Friday night, you'll be able to see the fireworks. Can you see me, Kwanda? Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Oh, okay. All righty.
It said it was muted, but I was okay.
All righty. The time zone, the time is 5 hours different when you are in Honolulu compared to in Maryland. 2 hours different if you are on the West Coast. So make sure when you're getting your flights and you see those long flight hours, that you know that that's because there's a difference in time zone. But you're still just going to be a 5-hour flight from LA. And if you're going into LA from the East Coast, it's about a 5-hour flight into LA or into the West Coast. It's a total of about 10 hours in flight time. So if you get a flight and it says the time is about 11 or 12 hours, you know there's about a 1.5 hour layover somewhere, either on the outbound or the inbound. Okay. There is no passport needed for this vacation. A couple of people have called me asking me about the passport. No passport is needed whatsoever to go to Honolulu. It is a part of the United States. As far as the seats on the airplanes, whether you buy the seat from the airplane, the airline ticket from me, or whether you buy it online, be mindful that we are still traveling right now. I don't know what's going to happen in June during COVID. So the airline, you may pick your seats and they may change them. The airline may pick your seats, and when you get there, you can ask them to change them if you have 2 or 3 people with you, and they can put a family together, because some airlines still keep the middle seat empty. Some of them keep the left side to the front, the left side to the back. They do all kind of stuff on different airlines. They do different things. So if I picked a seat for you and right now I said you have all window seats, when you get to the airport, you might be on the aisle, but it's not that we didn't pick that seat for you. The airline has a policy as far as the way they want the plane to be laid out for COVID. All right. Transportation when you get to Honolulu. We have a company and the name is called Speedy Shuttle, and I will put that in the email for everyone. It's, if you take the transportation by yourself, it's $16 round trip. So $8 each way. They're going to have a link for you to sign up, and you can get the shuttle. They'll already be there waiting for you. If there's 10 people going to be in the shuttle, it's only $10 a person round trip. So once I get all of the flights booked, or all the flights that you guys have booked on your own, we get them all together, then we will say, hey, this person is on this flight. There's at least 10. They can put you all together, and then you just pay $10. If you catch a cab, even though it's only 9 miles away, sometimes there's traffic, and it could be upwards of $45 each way to catch a cab. Okay? Or if you feel like you want to catch Uber, you can catch Uber to the hotel. It's up to you. If you are not going on the trip, please reach out to us as soon as possible so we can take your name off of the roll at the hotel. Because even though we can't get the money back for the room, there are taxes and other fees that if you haven't finished paying your bill, we don't want to have to pay those fees for you if you are not coming. Okay? Someone asked about the food. The food is not included. However, if you are on a budget, there are several places to eat that are budget friendly. There's an IHOP directly behind the hotel. There's an ABC store at every other corner in Honolulu. And an ABC store is not a liquor store. In Virginia, it's called a liquor store, but ABC in Honolulu, they have sandwiches, they have water, they have clothes in that store, they have flip-flops, they have hats, they have snacks. Lachelle is on this Zoom with us, and she just went with me a couple of weeks ago. In every other corner, there is an ABC store. If we run out of time on the Zoom, guys, all you have to do is dial right back in, because it only lasts for 45 minutes, and we're going to keep on going. Just hit the button and dial right back in. Okay. There's a eggs and steak that's a couple of blocks away. The zoo, you can walk to the zoo, you can walk to the crab place. It's so many restaurants that you can go to. There's reasonable, inexpensive restaurants, there's middle grade restaurants, and there's high-end restaurants. They have Chinese food, American food, They have everything just like here. We're still in America. They have a cheesecake factory directly across the street from our hotel. You can walk out the door, make 2 steps to the right, and you're sitting in front of the Cheesecake Factory. If you go down 5 blocks to the left when you leave out the hotel, you can see a Ruth Chris Steakhouse. You can see just so many restaurants. It's a lot. So don't worry about food. You don't need a car in Honolulu. We are right on the strip. There's a bike rack rental directly in front of our hotel. If you go out the gate at the pool area, you can just put the money or your credit card in the actual bike rack rental and take a bike and take a tour somewhere, okay? Again, we are directly on the strip, so all the designer stores are on the strip. You can shop your life away. Everything is open until 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'll just give you some stores. They like, see, I'm not a designer shopper, but they have Louis Vuitton, all the high-end stores. But they also have a mall, not on our strip, but 1 street behind us, there's a bus. You can get the bus and it takes you straight to the mall and it'll bring you right back for those of you who like to go to the mall. Excursions. We are still going to have all of our events. They will look a little different because of social distancing, but we still will have our events. The only event we may not be able to have is the luau. But if we do not have the luau, we will have something for substitute for the luau. Like I said, you can also walk to all the bars. You can walk to the zoo. The itinerary that I put together for the trip, we normally have it out about a month before the trip, but it may be out within 3 weeks of the trip because of all the changes. I want to get as close as possible to our date in case they change things for the better for us. Okay?
Wow.
See, everybody's muted. I can still hear somebody. All right, guys, for the ones who have been on trips with me before, you guys know I normally go in the rooms and fix up everything in your room. I put all your gifts on the bed. We're not going to be able to do we're not going to be able to do that this time because of COVID. However, we will have a gift bag ready for each and every one of you at check-in. So don't worry about it. You'll still get all your goodies. We will have 4 vendors at our retreat, and one of the rooms that we have will be set up just for the 4 vendors. So we'll have some times on the itinerary where you guys can go shop with the ladies. We still have Lucinda Cross coming as our keynote speaker. She's also going to probably do some breakout sessions. So we can, use her for some of the substitute things that we won't be able to do. And also, when you check in, you'll have these wristbands. They have barcode numbers on them. They say Majestic Millionaires. I don't know if you can see them. They're going to pull them off. You'll have them as a bracelet to identify you that you are with our company and you are with the trip. And this wristband here is purple. You'll get one of these, and it has Lucinda Cross's name already on it. It says for the women's retreat with Lucinda Cross. So when you check in, make sure you guys get your bracelets, and that's how the hotel is going to identify you to stay on the property. Let me see what else I got here. All right, now let's get to the most important thing, and that is the COVID testing. And like I said, if we get cut off, please call back in because this is the most important part because we got about 5 more minutes left. You must have a COVID test going into Hawaii. You do not need a COVID test coming out of Hawaii to come home. You must get the test 3 days prior to boarding your flight. So if you're boarding, you should be boarding your flight on the 1st of June. So the test needs to be performed either on the 29th or the 30th. Go to a place that is certified, and you have to make sure that they offer the test results back 24, 48, or 72 hours. so you can get them back and upload them in the system that they can check to make sure you have a negative test. And they will also issue you a QRC code in your phone that you're going to need when you get to the hotel. So if you are a person where your phone goes dead, make sure you print out your negative COVID test. So when you get to the airport, if your phone is dead, you will still be able to be verified. Okay, this is how you get the free COVID test at CVS, Walgreens, or any of the places that you're going to go to. Make sure you guys listen to this really, really good. I don't want anyone saying, well, they told me I couldn't get the test and I had to pay. When they ask you the questions, when you go online to make the appointment, one of the questions are going to ask you, have you been exposed to anyone that has COVID? You don't know that, so you have to answer yes. You go to the grocery store, you go shopping, you go get your hair done, you're getting your toes done. So in order for you to get a free COVID test, this is anyone, you have to answer that question yes. Or one of the other questions have to be yes. If you work at a facility where, you know, there's a high risk, in order for you to get that test, one of those answers have to be yes. You can't say no, 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 and then think you're going to get a test, because they're going to ask you, then why do you need a test? If you don't understand that and you need some clarification on that, make sure you call me. Okay, and again, no testing before you leave Hawaii. You can leave Hawaii and just go on home. But I suggest everyone, before we go to Hawaii, if you're nervous or hesitant about going, keep away from people for 2 weeks. Stay in the house. Make sure you protect yourself. Make sure you're not going out that week getting your hair and your nails done. When you're in the house, make sure people live in your house, you wear your mask. Do above and beyond what we're already required to do. You know, we're already supposed to be social distancing. We're already supposed to be wearing a mask. We're already supposed to be, you know, not staying in large groups if you don't know the people. Just continue to do that, but times 10. So you can make sure you're going to test negative so we won't have any issues. All right. Your name and whoever name is on the room must be the same names that's going to be uploaded in the Hawaii portal. When you upload your documents, they're going to ask you what hotel you're staying in, what's the phone number, what's the address, and your days of your stay. When they go to check, if your name is not on the hotel reservation, you're not going to be approved. So if you change the roommate and we don't know, which is not approved anyway, they will not be able to get into the hotel. It has to be double checked and it has to be verified. So COVID got a lot of things changed. They also social distance there and they contact trace. So when you go to some of the restaurants, when you come in and out the hotel, if they feel like asking you to open up your phone to check your code, they have the right to do so. If you test positive and you forgot to upload your documents, when you get to Hawaii and we land, they have a process where they're going to notify the hotel. The hotel's going to make sure that you don't come out of that room for your entire stay. Mm-hmm. You don't get to go to the pool. You don't get to go out to eat. They even bring you the food, or they require that you order your own food from one of the Uber Eats places. Let's see what else I got.